Howdy, and welcome to this episode of From the Archives. Today, we'll be taking a look at the history of neonatal intensive care units and March of Dimes NICU Family Support Program. In 1968, March of Dimes grants started to shift towards supporting neonatal intensive care nurseries. Much like the polio model of funds distribution, the foundation initially funded direct care for premature and sick newborns, equipment for intensive care nurseries, and statewide networks of intensive care for high-risk infants. In 1976, March of Dimes released the first of three reports titled Toward Improving the Outcome of Pregnancy. This report called for and outlined the importance of a regional system of neonatal intensive care units, or NICUs, to care for premature and sick babies. By the late 1980s and early 1990s, NICUs had incorporated much of the advanced medical technology that are found in NICUs today. This tech includes ventilation assistance for immature lungs, nitric oxide therapy, surfactant therapy, sonography, incubators, radiant heaters for the thermoregulation of newborns, and special formulas for nutrition. March of Dimes helped to fund the startup, equipment purchase, and life-saving therapies of NICUs through hundreds of research and community grants since the 1970s.
Babies born prior to 35 weeks simply have not matured their lungs enough to make surfactant. We are administering human surfactant and administering it directly to very tiny prematurely born babies.
Outside of the medical and technical improvements to the NICU, March of Dimes saw the need to provide comfort and support to the families who were living through life in the NICU. In 1983, March of Dimes, in partnership with Wheelock College in Boston, created organizing support programs for parents of premature infants, or Project Welcome. This program eventually expanded, and in 2001, March of Dimes launched 3 pilot programs to test their new initiative, NICU Family Support.
NICU Family Support Program coordinators are part of the team in the NICU that helps provide a voice for families. NICU Family Support Programs help families through a very, very difficult journey. It might be just being present to listen to a family and just help them feel like a parent. We also are helping to educate staff and provide resources to staff so that they are providing the best care to families. We have an ability to really help bridge the gap between staff and families, often by making sure that we're advocating for families, but also providing staff with resources to be thinking about what it's like to be a parent at the bedside.
Joining me today to talk about the program is Kara Gallardi, Senior Director of the NICU Family Support Program. Kara's been with the organization since 1994, and I can't think of a better person to talk to about the evolution and future of the program. So thanks for joining, Kara.
Thanks, Chris.
All right, so can you talk about the evolution of the NICU Family Support Program? I know when we were kind of chatting through email or Zoom, you said that when you first started, there was no such thing as NICU Family Support Program.
Our history really paved the way to create what we now know of as our NICU Family Support Program, where we grew from 3 pilot sites and launching our program back in 2001 to where we are today, which is in more than 70 hospital partner sites around the country and serving 50,000 plus families every year.
So when you say serving 50,000 plus families every year, what happens when you go into the NICU and you're kind of entered into that NICU Family Support Program? There's this kind of common misconception that it's an arts and crafts project, or you're going to come out of the hospital with a scrapbook and some cute onesies, which you do. They're awesome. I love them. And they're like a nice break from the day-to-day grind that is the NICU. But like, what is NICU Family Support, and what does that look like?
Sure. So yes, Chris, NICU Family Support is a lot more than crafts and our holiday activities. And it's understandable that those are things that get a lot of attention because they really are special and great. And I really want to tell you why a little bit those are extra special in a minute. But when a family engages with the March of Dimes NICU Family Support Program, there are 3 main goals, what we are trying to do, with and for that family and that hospital partner. And they are to provide parent education, staff education, and to improve the NICU experience. And the first is parent education. So we have amazing booklets and resources. We also have excellent content on the March of Dimes Compass app. And we have a core curriculum that has 7 different topics that families can participate in and receive education on important things like developmental milestones and feeding and nutrition or skin to skin. And these are topics that parents have told us are what are most important to them. And an evaluation of that education also shows that when a family goes through that education class from the March of Dimes, that it improves their parenting confidence. And we often like to say that we have never met a family that couldn't use a boost in their confidence and their care of their baby. I think we're all in the same boat on that, Chris. So what parent doesn't, benefit from feeling more confident and capable in the care of their baby? And that's especially true for NICU families. So that's our first priority. Second is staff education. And while the March of Dimes does not provide clinical education or training to staff, we offer education on topics that are equally as important. And those are things that really help a staff person understand the experience for a NICU family. And the amazing part is that when we train one staff person, we're really impacting every family that that staff person is going to serve. So if we can help a staff person um, encourage a family to do skin to skin care because they've participated in one of our staff education classes, that's going to be a really important piece of their care for other families, and hopefully will help many, many families to come. So, and the last is patient experience, and that's where the craft and scrapbooks and other activities come in, and we love those. But the main part of our patient experience work is quality improvement. So our sites come together every year to work on some type of quality improvement project that is going to help a unit improve an experience for families. But when it comes to those activities and arts and crafts stuff, what really matters is the purpose behind them. And they are important ways for a family to really mark the milestones that they're experiencing in the NICU. A NICU stay is often unexpected. So let's say a family finds themselves in the NICU on Halloween and they didn't expect to have their baby with them until December. The opportunity that a program coordinator provides for them to do something special on that holiday can really help them, again, mark that time and mark that milestone. And activities like photography or that involve footprints or decorating a onesie or some type of holiday event are really important. And what we hear from families long after they've left the NICU is that these are cherished keepsakes. These are things that families keep, in their child's baby box for, years and years, and that it's an incredibly important way that the family then gets to be able to share their story and tell the story of their NICU stay, of their child's first days of life, and really their first days as a family. And it's really a wonderful and important part of our work.
When a family gets into the NICU, they're kind of thrown into this world that they were not expecting. There's a lot of terminology, a lot of language, a lot of machinery that you have no idea like what it means or what the bells signify or what the beeps are. So the interaction between coordinator and family, how does the coordinator kind of alleviate some of that stress or just make their lives better in the NICU?
Sure. Well, really, the interaction between a coordinator and the family is everything. That is the cornerstone. That's the root of the program and who we are and what we seek to do every day. The NICU Family Support Program Coordinator position is really unique and special. It's unique in the March of Dimes and it's unique in the hospital. What we often say is that our program coordinators are the magic. They are ones that really sort of make the magic happen and really bring the program to life. And there's a few reasons why. One is that the program coordinator role is uniquely dedicated to the needs of the family, because who's the patient? The baby is the patient. The family is not the patient. So while all kinds of other staff are around and of course are wonderfully supportive of the family and engaged and wanting to care for that family in the best way that they can, it's really only our NICU Family Support Program Coordinator who is specifically and again uniquely dedicated to the needs of those families. So that's one of the reasons that makes that interaction so special. And also, our hospital partners who choose to have the March of Dimes NICU Family Support Program really seek us out for that interaction. They want someone in their NICU who is, again, uniquely dedicated to the needs of those families and to really be there for those families. And the reason for that is that our hospital partners understand that when a family is informed and supported and receiving that type of education, they're going to feel more confident and capable in the care of their baby. And that's going to be a better experience for that family. That's going to be a better experience for that staff. And then the real goal is that we hopefully help that family leave their NICU experience, intact and connected.
So this is a question that I've always grappled with or struggled with is you see the family, it's the worst day of their life, the day that you're meeting them. How do you know when to approach a family? How does a coordinator know, what's that golden opportunity to kind of introduce themselves and maybe start bringing them into the program?
Sure. So the golden opportunity really comes with who we choose and select to be a NICU Family Support Program coordinator. They truly come to us with incredible skills and training. Many of our program coordinators come to us with a background in nursing, some social work, some are teachers, some are child life, doula, music therapy, and many are also parents themselves and have had a NICU experience. So starting from there with people like that, with that kind of training and both personal and professional skills is really the best possible start. So, but they use these skills to really know the best way to reach a family because they also are implementing a program that tries to hit families in a lot of different ways at different times. So a NICU stay can be a few hours, it can be a few days, it can be weeks or months. And a family's interest and willingness to engage in the program is also going to be very different. So a program coordinator is going to be using multiple ways to engage a family. Sometimes that's at the bedside, doing something one-on-one. Sometimes it's inviting them to a group and engaging them as a way to have time with other peers and other families in the NICU. They also might take advantage of something that's a virtual opportunity where they can take that education class from home, or often with our craft or social activities where there's someone who really gravitates to those kinds of things. But these are all the different ways that a program coordinator is going to engage with the family so that the family ultimately can have the choice to decide when and how they want to engage. But the best part is no matter how a family or when they choose to really engage with the program, once they do, they are much more likely to continue and engage with a lot of other parts and pieces of the program, which is great.
So how does being in the program, working with the coordinator, make a family's life better or easier in the NICU?
So the best way I think to know the answer to that question is to really ask our families and our hospital partners. So every year we survey our hospital partners and we ask them about the impact that the program and the program coordinators are having in their unit. And a few of the things that they tell us are that the NICU Family Support Program and the program coordinator empowers families to care for their baby, and that the program and the program coordinator are invaluable resources and vital members in their NICUs, and that the program coordinator uniquely understands the NICU experience in a way that no one else could. And those are really incredible pieces of feedback that we get. And then one of my favorites that we heard from a NICU leader just this past year is that the NICU Family Support Program breathes greatness into our NICU. And that was really incredible to hear that that is how our program is really helping that unit and those families have the best possible experience. And it's a really important way that the March of Dimes has the opportunity to really support families that, as you said, a really difficult and hard time in their life.
Every time I meet a NICU family support coordinator, I'm always bowled over or just in awe of who they are as people, their own personal journeys, how they got there, how they interact with the families, and just the level of professionalism that they're a valued member of the NICU team. It's not just like a nice to have, that they're valued and they're important and they're a part of the day-to-day care of that precious baby that's in the NICU. They're all amazing, wonderful people that like truly love their job, love the families, and they build like these lifelong connections to these families that's invaluable for me, because then I can go back to those families and capture those stories. We'll see them in a March for Babies. We'll see them fundraising to help funding their local NICU, or they're at a chef's event. All of this because of these amazing people that we're so fortunate to work with and to have in this program that for the last over 20 years has been making such an impact on families around this country. So, but thank you so much for joining today. Really appreciate the time and insight into this amazing program. Well, that's it for today's episode of From the Archives. A huge thanks to Kara Gallardi for joining me today. I hope you learned something, and if you have any questions about the archives, feel free to drop a comment in the chat. Until next time, thanks for watching.